Hey everyone, so I'm Tesla Herbert, and today we're joined by Johnna Crider. You probably know her as the writer for Clean Technica. She's been writing articles since 2019 on Tesla and the EV revolution. What you may or may not know is that she's also the founder of her own jewelry business called Getting Stoned. I love that, Johnna. And she's a very passionate supporter of Elon Musk specifically. When you hear her incredible story that she has to tell about how Elon specifically helped her personally, it's actually quite inspiring. And you can find Johnna on Twitter at Johnna Crider 0 or via her website, johnnacrider.com. So welcome, Johnna. Thank you so much.
Hi, glad to be here.
So I thought we'd start first with your writing career and your involvement with Tesla. Then after that, I'd love to learn more about your background and your story.
Okay.
So you've been writing for Clean Technica since 2019, you said. I saw that you write 3 articles a week. Oh, I'm sorry, a day.
It depends. Sometimes more than that. And I don't write just about Tesla. So I write,
Okay.
Yeah, I've interviewed quite a lot of people. So different CEOs of different tech startups, in the battery and mining industry. And I learned a lot. It's been a learning experience. So.
But 3 a day, that's amazing. You are a powerhouse.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly 3. Sometimes I do less than that, and sometimes like I'll go a few days without writing, and then sometimes I'll binge write. So yeah.
So of all the articles you've written 2019, do you have a favorite one?
I think the Plaid event one, because I went to that one, and the CyberRodeo, because those were fun events, and AI Day too. So yeah, those were really fun.
So the events that you personally had a lot of emotional fun.
Those are fun.
And which of the articles you've written has gotten the most engagement?
I have no idea. I don't really look at the most engagement. I just kind of write it, put it out there, and then forget about it, and then go to the next one. Like I'll share it and stuff on Twitter, but it's out of my head, and I move on to the next one. I think the best part really is just kind of debunking all the misinformation and, just spreading good,
Absolutely. That's what you're known for. Do you have any that you consider to be controversial?
Not to me, but I mean, just, Clean Technica is more like clean tech, solar, EVs. So I kind of leave my opinions and thoughts about the whole Twitter thing and the political stuff on my Medium. It doesn't get as much traction there, but I mean, it's an outlet, so,
Yeah. So tell us, how did you get started as a journalist, and how did you get into Clean Technica specifically, and why this specific topic?
Well, it was kind of by accident. So I got married in 2013, and I didn't want to marry him. But he was, I got pregnant. And so I was like, well, I grew up without my father, and I didn't know who he was at the time. So I said, well, I don't want my child to end up without a father like I was. So when he proposed, I said, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then I lost the baby a couple months later. And it was so sudden, unexpected, and I didn't. This is going to sound bad. I didn't grieve because I didn't have a chance to really bond with it. I felt bad, but I felt kind of like, okay, well, if God wants me to have a baby, it'll happen. Yeah. And it wound up being a good thing because a few years later, my ex, he was always just moving around. We were moving from place to place. He was working odd jobs, and I found out later he was conning a lot of people. And just hurting a lot of people, and I was the breadwinner. I managed this gallery in a mall in Dallas, and that mall
Okay.
closed. So we bounced around until he left me. He literally like came home from work and said, "Hey, I have to leave.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the country, and you're on your own. I still want to be with you, but you're on your own." So I lived in Atlanta for some time. I was actually homeless there. That's a whole nother story. But I worked 2 jobs while I was homeless, and I spoke to one of my other bosses, and he was like, "Yeah, come on, I'll put you on." So I got from North Carolina, a small town where I didn't know anybody, but all I knew was him, to Atlanta. And throughout all of this, I discovered Elon Musk. Like, I saw this meme or something on LinkedIn about him, and I'm like, the question was like, what would you do if you was on the elevator with Elon Musk? And I'm like, who is this guy? I don't know. I'd probably hit the button and go, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who he is, you know. So now I just.
What year was this around?
2018. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I saw, I was on Twitter trying to just post jewelry stuff. I had like very few followers. I wasn't verified. And randomly, a tweet from Elon Musk showed up in my feed about the SpaceX rockets. So I was like, oh, this guy has rockets. Right. Okay. So I watched the webcast and started researching, and I saw that 60 Minutes video of him where, you know, he was like getting a little teary-eyed. And it inspired me. Like, he was talking about I never give up. And I was in a situation where I was, you know, kind of in limbo with my marriage. I didn't know my ex had planned something really horrible for me. And like, he was literally planning on leaving me stranded with nobody in a small town in North Carolina. And like, he and one of the women he was cheating on me were planning to do that. And, you know, so it was really, you know, I was going through a lot and living with friends and family. Well, not like blood family, but just good friends that you consider family.
Yeah.
And I found out what he was going to do. And it just like, it hurt deeply, you know. And I wrote this open letter to Elon Musk and didn't think he would see it, you know. And then people started tagging him.
Sorry, you wrote an open letter?
Yeah.
Like a
tweet? No, so I had my old jewelry blog. It was under my old married name. And I wrote this open letter about not giving up. You know, thank you for not giving up. And I didn't think he would ever see it, you know, but he saw it and he shared it.
Did you tweet it out?
Yeah, I did. And other people saw it and started tagging him in it. And that's how he saw it. It was other people were like, you know, and then I started like, I was invited into this chat group with a few people. They're not really as active anymore. And they, you know, I was really just like, you know, venting about my ex, just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. And most of these people were like in Europe, and they were like, you know, they kept me sane. And they would share my open letter and tag Elon. And Elon shared one of their, I forgot who it was because she's not on Twitter no more. But he literally shared the link to my jewelry blog to Twitter. And I was completely shocked. And that money that came in literally saved me because people started buying from me.
Wow.
And it got me through a lot. And then I wrote this on my Medium, kind of what was happening, what my ex was planning for me, and just how I was just really heartbroken. I wanted to die. I literally wanted to take my life over.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah.
And I didn't think he would see that, even though I tagged him. And he commented, he posted a Jane Austen quote. And just, it was just really encouraging. And people started buying from me. I had people just sending me money, like, here, get to a safe place. And I was just completely shocked. But I did that. I got back. I'm from Louisiana, grew up in Shreveport up north. And I always had this friend in Baton Rouge, and she was always telling me, you can stay on my couch if your ex ever tries to hurt you. He was my husband. She's like, if your husband beats you, come stay on my couch. And so I did that. He never beat me or anything. I would have beat him back. So, yeah. He did psychologically and emotionally abuse me, and it was really hard coming out of that abuse. It's like you're literally programmed to hate yourself. And, you know, I spent 4 years healing from that. Still got a ways to go, but yeah, that's how I kind of got into it. That's how I got my start in the community. But after he did all that, I started looking for work here in Baton Rouge and got a job at the local Goodwill up the street. And between like working crazy hours there, I started noticing like the way people were treating him online. And then I would have these random people, Johnna, you're going to go to jail. You're committing fraud because you like Elon. And I'm like, what? Are these people on drugs? And then I actually had a couple of other Tesla investors educate me, and they're like, no, they're this group called Tesla Q. They target and stalk anybody who supports Tesla and Elon. And so, and I realized this group was like supported by some folks in the media, like media people were using their tweets, and I started like debunking. I just started writing a few stuff here and there and just debunking it. And someone, her name was Lauren, she told me, she was like, you should guest write for Clean Technica. So I submitted a guest post, and when Elon liked that article, he liked it on Twitter, Clean Technica, they offered me a job. So I was able to leave a minimum wage job and write full time, but I didn't leave Goodwill until September 2019. So I was working to kind of writing and working like 80-hour shifts at Goodwill, and believe 80-hour weeks, not shifts, but 80-hour work weeks.
Oh, Johnna, this story is both heartbreaking, and I can feel for you the challenges you've gone through, but also is very inspiring because you were prepared. Also, you were prepared to stand up for yourself and find your way through. You had a jewelry blog on your own, and then you were able to write as well. Did you have any writing background? You said you had a Medium account. Were you already writing for that?
Not like consistently. So when I was a kid, I've always wanted to be a writer. I was gonna like be this, you know how we are when you kids. I was going to get a book of poetry published, and I don't know, like be famous. You know how kids are. Okay. I don't really need to be famous anymore, but I wanted to like, write and just really write. And I never went to college because I said if I go to college, I would go for journalism, but I had to go straight into work because my mom, I had to take care of her. I took care of her up until she died. And,
that's right.
And she went through a lot, so she had a lot of stuff happen to her.
You've gone through a lot yourself, but so you're a writer. You love to write, and here you are. And how fortuitous things have happened. I mean, lots of very difficult challenges came to you. You've overcome them, but with the help of Elon. And it's great. Why? I don't even know if he's done this again for anybody, but this is crazy that he just found you somehow, and not only once, but multiple times, kind of tried to help.
It's so unreal. Like, it feels like it's not me living this life. It's like I'm witnessing it through, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like watching it through the eyes of somebody else. Like, it doesn't feel real, and I'm just really incredibly grateful. Not just to Elon, but to this Tesla and SpaceX community, because I made not only good friends here, but I never really had family, blood family. You have cousins and stuff. I never had that. My mom went on the run from my father. That's kind of why I didn't know who he was. She hid me. She literally hid me.
Yeah, and you were a single child.
So, and cut off from her family, everything. So I didn't have family. I didn't know what family was like. I knew what friends were like. So I think like the Tesla community, that and my old coworkers at my old job in Atlanta were the closest things to family that I've ever had.
Who were the Tesla community folks? I know that I just did an interview with Kristen.
Kristen was one
She
of them.
said that you were one of the early people that you guys connected and really started to just were part of the very, very beginning when we were all starting, all little babes.
So I don't know.
Fighting against...
I don't know if they want to be named, if everybody wants to be named.
Gotcha.
But Rational Etienne and his wife Lauren. Let's see, Kristen. A guy by the name of Martin in Germany. He was he created that group, one group that we ran. Renata, she's just, one of the sweetest. There's Evelyn. She writes for Tasmanian. She was one of my very first friends in this community. And she's always so encouraging, and kind.
You're talking about Eve?
Yeah, Eve.
Fox.
No, not Eva Fox. Eva Fox too. I think I kind of connected with her after I started writing for Clean Technica right around that time. And
then so you love journalism. Somebody said, hey, you should do a guest write for Clean Technica. What was that article? What was that first article that you chose to write on?
About why I invest in a Tesla, or why you should invest in Tesla. And at the time I was investing, I've had quite a few emergencies, so I don't own any shares in Tesla at this moment. So yeah, I'm still literally rebuilding my life. So I don't have I'm still getting there where I need to be. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on your way.
Yeah, I am at the most stable I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah. In many of our eyes in Tesla, Twitter community, you are a celebrity.
I don't feel like that.
To talk to you.
I'm just me.
That's what you all say.
Yeah, I don't feel like a celebrity at all. So
it's not that you're supposed to feel like a celebrity. It's what other people see as who they think are the celebrities. Yeah. They decide.
I feel like I'm just random, just random person.
So first of all, you have real amazing articles. I've seen you do in-depth, detailed explanation, very, very well researched. And then, so it's a shocker a bit that you said that you didn't go to university, obviously because of circumstance, but you've overcome that. Your articles, your journalism is top notch.
Thank you. I have a good editor. Yeah, Zach is awesome, and I like somehow he edits, and I can see what words I can use, and following Elon, my vocabulary has expanded, so I've learned.
Oh, okay, on the technical side.
And I've learned, if you would have told me 4 years ago or even 5 years ago, I would be writing about solar, what photovoltaic is, I don't know how you say it, but
so what was your interest in technology or in
it came in through Tesla. I just wanted to, debunk the misinformation. And when he offered me a job, and, I was just like, okay, yeah, just anything Tesla related. And I would just kind of put my own, covered in any breaking stories. And, it just kind of grew from there. And
is there any concern? I've seen sometimes you get attacked where they're saying that you are a shill because of your emotional connection to Tesla. You're very biased in your articles. Is that a concern? And then, of course, the initial investment you had, but now you don't invest. But, that usually sometimes journalists are saying, hey, you're not objective.
I'm not the only writer who has had Tesla investments. And you can see TSLA and other Clean Technica articles, and they'll say at the bottom, disclaimer, so-and-so has these stocks. I had it in my bio. So,
yes.
So I don't think I'm a bad person because I believed in this company and I support Elon. In fact, to be honest, I'd rather be open about it and be like, yeah. So I don't even see why he's controversial, honestly. He's a good person. Why should it be controversial to support Elon Musk? I don't get that.
See, right there. I don't get why it's controversial to support Elon Musk.
It's not like we're talking about guns and abortion and, and political stuff. It's it's a person who's trying to go to Mars and help humanity. Why is that controversial?
Well, it is controversial.
I don't get it.
No, I think as long as you, so first of all, the publication you are supporting is Clean Technica. So it is very clearly supporting the EV revolution and the energy transition.
Yes.
And then you are one of the Tesla experts in that space. You write about it, you know about it, but you come with it with a passion that you are mission driven as well. And that helps with your writing. That helps with your positions. And then it is true that I think most of what you've done is always debunking false information. So as long as you're straightforward and said, yes, I had stock, like everybody has ownership of stock. And then, but yeah, it's okay. It's absolutely okay these days to have one side or the other, as long as you're very objective.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm not going to sit there and write, you know, I'm not going to go after Ford or GM in the same way Tesla Q goes after Tesla. But I have written articles, and I have been corrected a couple of times when I had the wrong information, and I, you know, fixed that. Well, the editing team fixes that. But I'm not here to, you know, trash the other automakers or whoever. But I'm not going to sit there and just like, oh, GM's the leader, and just, no, they're not. No, they're not.
Well, you want to get the facts out. Yeah. It's wonderful for your writing career because there's just so much fun. So I was like, okay, this is the topic of the day. Let me go. But I love the way you do deep dives. Like one of your last tweets that I just absolutely love was the one about the fight against Elon, saying that he doesn't donate, he doesn't pay taxes. And then you did an incredible long thread and pointing out all the times that his foundation or he himself has donated.
I've also written 2 articles about that. One for EV Obsession. I sometimes write some articles find their way there. And also on my Medium, because I was just kind of trying to get that information out there to debunk the FUD. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a Twitter thread. Nothing's going to happen. It's not going to go viral.
It went viral. I was one of the first 5 to like it and retweet it. As soon as you posted it, you sent it to my DM, and I already retweeted, liked it before you even did that. And I said, I said it back to you, this is gold. This is masterpiece.
Like,
and it went viral.
Other people sending me stuff, and I was like, oh my goodness! Like I got tired of adding to the thread. It was so long.
No. This is in fact, you try that. You know your articles, but yeah, you're trying to get people to go visit the site Clean Technica. Tell me about Clean Technica. What is its obviously its mission? How was it founded? How's it doing?
You know, I don't
How many writers?
really know the founding story of Clean Technica, and that probably looks bad on me as a writer. But hey, it is what it is. I know they've been around for a long time. Maybe, I think since 2013. I have to go back and look. But the last, what I've heard is that they're number 1 for like clean tech news and solar. And you know, my editor, he has a good heart. He's very passionate about, especially just clean energy and making this world a better place.
I think so obviously bad things have happened to you. Now, these are amazing, incredible miracles, and good things are happening to you because not only did you fall into journalism, which is what you were wanting all your life as a kid, you're writing about worthy missions. And because of your passion, you feel like it's not work, right? You're enjoying it. I mean, you're pretty incredible the way you do it. But so it's like your skills and your talents are now being put in the right place.
And I find it inspiring when I interview people and I learn about why are they, like, you know, why did you start your company? Like, what problem are you trying to solve? Like, what moves you? You know? There's this one girl, I found her off of TikTok. I love TikTok. I'm not going to lie. I love it.
I am too.
I found her video came across my feed. She's going to hike the entire length of the Colorado River to raise awareness, and I just found that so inspiring about. But she's raising awareness about the river's decline, so I reached out to her, interviewed her, and it's just like, I don't know. When I talk to people, it's exciting, you know, to see there's people out there trying to do good, and we should.
So you reached out to her, but is that anything to do with Clean Technica, or you're just expanding now? What's the angle?
So for her, I wrote about how she's going to hike the entire length of the Colorado River to raise awareness about its decline. And, you know, the Colorado River no longer meets the sea.
Perfect. Gotcha.
And she
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. It's going to come out in August?
Leaving. No, the article's already out, but she's starting her trip in August. She's hiking it with her dog. By herself.
So you actually went and found her. You reached out.
So TikTok, most people connect their Instagram or YouTube to TikTok. So I reached out to her through Instagram.
See, you have power now. How do I get that? I can just call it, well, maybe one day, right?
Well, I've never been shy. Like, if I want to talk to somebody or ask them, I'll ask a question, you know. Except for an AI day. I froze up. I completely froze up. Like, so I wasn't expecting to go to AI day. It was very last minute. So I rushed out there. In fact, I was going to do laundry the next day, and I had no clean clothes. I had like some LSU sweatshirts and LSU like t-shirt. So I looked like I was going to an LSU game. You know, I'm an LSU fan, Baton Rouge, you know, Louisiana. It's like Louisiana is our thing, you know. So I looked very out of place, and at the time I had green hair.
Yes.
And, you know, and then they were like doing Q&A, and I was like, oh, I am so not prepared. Like, I didn't even know I was going to be here 24 hours ago. You know? Wow. So yeah, it was an adventure though, and just being there and seeing the excitement of other people just talking about technology. And I literally ran around to everybody. They had like, they were doing like, you know, presentations. And I was just saying, okay, tell me like I'm 5.
Exactly, because I was going to say that goes over everybody's heads.
But, you know, so it was really like a job fair. And they were doing the stuff for job. But it was a really good learning experience. I talked to a few people here and there. And it was a whirlwind. I was in and out so fast, like literally, like I came back home, and then 9 days, not even 10 days. No, it was 10 days later, we had Hurricane Ida. And so I didn't even have time to process that. Like, AI day, then boom, hurricane, no power for a week. It was hell.
Oh my gosh, no power for 1 week.
It got up
That's
to
crazy these
40
days.
degrees in my apartment.
Well, maybe Tesla energy will solve that one day.
Well, and my apartment is technically, I know my landlady, her deli is a historical landmark. But my apartment is is an old shotgun put into a duplex. And a shotgun's like the type of house, if people don't know what a shotgun is, you look straight through all the way to the other end. That's why they call it a shotgun, because it's like you're looking down the barrel of a shotgun. And it's 150 or something like years old. It was built, when it was built, there was AC, but it was like luxury. So it would have to literally be rewired. And I don't think my landlady wants to invest in all that time.
Yeah. But what other events were you able to attend other than AI Day, which is pretty amazing? Did you go to CyberRodeo? Are you invited to the next AI Day?
I have no idea if I'm going to the next AI Day or not. So I don't assume anything. I'm one of those, like, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, okay. You know, like, I'm still.
So how does it work? You have to wait till Tesla invites
they'll email you an invite. And so yeah, but my first event was the Plaid event, and Isaac Latterall actually. This was right before I got verified. I had applied to be verified, but it was pending. It had been pending for about 8 months or so, and I didn't think I was ever gonna get it. But Isaac tweeted, "Hey," I think he tweeted, "Hey, Elon Musk, you should have Johnna go to the Plaid event." I didn't think anything of it, and it was the day before the Plaid event. And I looked in my inbox, and there was like this message from someone at Tesla, and they're like, "Hey, would you like to go?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And I said, "Oh my God, I need money," because I did not have the money to fly out, so I borrowed.
You're a journalist, though. Don't you, the Clean Tech doesn't pay for that kind of stuff. You have to travel on your
No,
own.
it's not that they don't pay for it. It was it was last minute, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I had to borrow money to go. And I borrowed money from a couple of friends and flew out there and stayed with Al Tesla, owners of East Bay, and his family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was like, "I'll host you if you get to go." So yeah.
Nice.
And he gave me like a cool tour of the Bay Area. I was there for a couple of days.
Al's really nice.
That Plaid is something else. Yeah, it's literally heart pounding. Yeah.
So you actually got to sit inside of it
as
a journalist?
Yeah. They
So now you're a car reviewer? You're
only a Tesla reviewer. I never learned how to drive as a kid. My mom, so right after we moved from Georgia to Louisiana, her car blew up. And she was like, "No more cars, I'm done." And so I never, learned how to drive. In driver's ed in high school, they're like, we could teach you, but you have to have a car. You have to go and practice.
This is clean living.
And I'm like, no, it's kind of hard to learn how to drive without a car. It's like, how am I supposed to learn without a car? So I never learned, and I do want to learn, but I have a problem with anxiety.
Okay, yeah. Well, a lot of people don't need to learn anymore. That's the whole promise where we're headed.
Yeah.
That's fun. You got invited to the Plaid event. What other events did you go to? So
Plaid, AI did.
Cybertruck?
No, I didn't go to the Cybertruck, but I did go to the CyberRodeo.
Yes, you did. I didn't see you.
I didn't see you either. It was like about a million people there.
50,000. You're a journalist. You got to be correct. Did you write about it?
I exaggerate from time to time. I did write about it.
Yeah. Okay. And then with the journalist pass, you get into certain places that others don't. And then are there places that they don't let you in?
They gave me the purple band, the VIP band. And I did. In fact, I actually I tweeted, I did a video with a gentleman one of the production managers at Tesla. He did like a short video for the article, and I posted it to Twitter and then linked it into the article. And he was cool. I was so lost in that factory. I'm not even kidding.
Of course.
I've never been to anything like Burning Man or anything like that. So I guess that's what it's like.
It's very special that you got invited there because they made a big deal that they weren't going to invite journalists. It was all employees. 85%, I believe, was employees. And even the big Tesla fans, many weren't invited. They just didn't have any more. It was primarily focused. And then they did make a big statement that it was not for journalists. So you are respected and somebody that they trust. Pretty cool.
It's really humbling, and it's mutual. The respect and the trust is definitely.
Yeah. I mean, again, it just feels like you said earlier you stumbled upon this, but this is Tesla. This isn't just any old company. This is a company that is making a difference, that is going to be the largest company in the world. It's going to be the one that's basically changes society. It's definitely heading that way. They've already did their goal of accelerating this transition to sustainable energy. Who knew 5 years ago that all the OEMs would now switch and say that we're all building EVs? And you played a part in that. So
and it again feels so unreal. Like, is this really happening? Changed. My life has literally changed just from interacting with Elon Musk.
Yes. So I want to get back to Elon Musk, and I saw something that he advised you to, in quotes, believe in good. What was that? Believe in good.
Was right after I wanted to end my life. I wrote a Medium article just detailing everything I went through. I deleted that article because I feel like I've grown from that, and it's who I am anymore. Like, it is my past, and I'm never going to like you never forget where you come from, but at the same time, don't let where you come from hold you back from where you're going. And I felt like it was time to let that go. And so I deleted that. But believing good at the time, I thought he was just telling me to believe in myself. But after kind of studying him, that sounds weird. Studying Tesla and studying like, the way he talks about believe in the future and believe in good. And it just made me realize, he's talking about the polarity of people. And I kind of learned, I'm kind of eclectic. So I study.
Eclectic.
I'm into like all kinds of weird stuff,
Well, you have the green hair, now the pink hair. It's more than just that.
So I was studying, it's the Emerald Tablets, plural, of Thoth, the Egyptian god. And in them, he talks about how humans are of both dark and light. And then when Elon was mentioned, it kind of like echoed what Elon said in that quote, how we have both kind of, sometimes people seem like they're dark, sometimes people seem like they're good. In reality, they're both. We're capable of both. And that was one of the things I've kind of learned over the past couple of years. You always look at somebody like, how can they be so good? And then how can they do something so horrendous? It's the duality, and you just have to choose.
So I love that you deleted the article and that you felt like you're growing and you're moving. Like you said, you'll always be part of you, but you're growing as a person. So let's move on to talking about Elon, because you said earlier that, so now we're talking about the duality of of a person, and yet earlier you were going, Elon is the best, it's amazing. I don't get why anybody would ever call it controversial. So what's your opinion of Elon? And you have studied him, you've been following him very closely for 4 years. So what's your opinion of Elon?
My opinion is that he is a good person. However, we all have our shortcomings. So for him, I think he's quick to kind of react sometimes, but at the same time, he's not. Like he can take so much. Let's take President Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, for example. Yeah. You know how the media is like, oh, Elon's picking on these politicians and poking him for 2 to 3 years, and he's just snapping on him. But when he snaps, he does go hard. And sometimes it does seem like he's trying to hold back, but when he doesn't hold back, he does not hold back. And, I don't hate him or blame him for that, because we're human. Like everybody has done something that they regretted or they feel like they shouldn't have done, or I don't know how he feels. I'm not in his head. But, what other people think, well, you shouldn't have done that because that's wrong and that makes you look bad. We've all done stuff like that,
Yeah.
So I can't judge. I can't judge him,
And so you think he's doing good.
But
and that's what drives your support for him.
I think he's doing a lot of good. He's trying to take humanity to Mars. He wants to prevent our extinction. Like he looks so far ahead, and people are unable to see that far. All they can see is around them right now. But and I kind of understand, especially with the birth rate, the criticism, because I grew up in severe poverty. My mom was homeless a lot, and he's always talking about we need to have more kids. We need to, human population. Like he's seeing the problem, but he's not, really addressing the root cause of the problem. And I think that the root cause, there's so many of them, but one of the key ones is poverty. People literally cannot afford to have kids. Yes, there are people out there who do have kids, but I have friends who I had a friend tell me, I don't know what I'm going to do. There's no baby formula. How am I going to feed my child? That was during the formula. And now with inflation and everything going up, I am so grateful that it is just me and my 2 cats.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think he's alluding that the Tesla bot is going to basically make economy meaningless. They can create everything and anything, and it'll be prosperous. Everybody will be very prosperous.
You would hope. You would hope. I don't know.
Yeah.
The way our system is, the government and the system in place, they don't benefit from other people being prosperous, you know. And I mean, that's just the sad reality of it. And that problem's going to have to be solved. A lot of people are scared of this bot because jobs away, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not seeing, again, they don't see the big picture. And I don't think it's not that they don't want to see it. I think it's because they don't have time. They're too busy trying to make it. And I was once that person. That's how I know.
Right. That's why you know. That's why you care.
Like, I literally lived on the street for 2 full-time jobs. You don't have time to plan for the future when you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, or you don't know where you're going to sleep at night. You know, am I going to sleep in this part? So, you know, I get the criticism on that front, but I don't get the hate.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, it means a lot because you know, you've been through it, so you have a personal experience. You can speak to this. So is there anything that Elon could do that would cross the line for you in your moral compass? Or do you feel like you owe him such a debt of gratitude because he's truly changed your life that you're going to be here to support him no matter what?
So I do feel like I owe a debt of gratitude, but at the same time, if he comes out and says, like, if, for example, pedophilia or support human trafficking, or like, okay, I'm going to kill people now, I would be like, yo, Elon, what the for that? No. Like, you know, like, if he does, like, you know, because extremely really mean things, you know, to people who don't deserve it. And honestly, all the bullying he's been put through, like, he'll go off on politicians and make fun of them. I don't, like, he'll go off on them because they're going after him, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, he himself, his story as a child, that he was severely bullied.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, maybe that part of it, he kind of, you know, resonated and wants to help people.
I think so. Yeah. I was bullied some. Yeah. Mine was more by my teacher. When I was diagnosed with asthma when I was 14. I was actually brain dead for 3 minutes. They had to.
Oh my gosh!
And I had severe.
It's incredible what you've gone through.
I had PTSD, and my English teacher, she told me that one day she would make fun of me every time I had an asthma attack in front of the class. And she took me aside one day right before spring break and said, you know, you should just kill yourself.
Oh my
and gosh. I was a dumb kid, and I really, you know, believed her. So I tried, and I failed. I drank like 6 or 7 bottles of NyQuil. And I slept really great, but woke up in time for school, missed out the entire spring break. But, you know.
Wow, Johnna, this is crazy. All those things, just one after another.
Yeah. There's been a lot more, but I had amnesia, so there's a lot that happened to me when I was a kid that I don't remember. So.
Right, PTSD and all that, and selective amnesia because you need to survive.
Yeah, survival.
Wow, that's crazy what you've gone through. But then it also puts where you're at today, and hopefully where you're going to go forward. You know,
it just makes me more empathic for other people. Like, I try to well, why are they doing this? What happened to them to make them think this way?
And then you're on Twitter, and a lot of us, like I know K10 and you get, you know, there's people that come after you guys, and there's lots of there's a lot of love. There's also a lot of people that are very hate. I mean, it's Twitter. Yeah. So they're all out there, and yet you are dealing with it, and you're okay with it. I mean, you're like, you have to deal with it.
It's just like, it's like air, like it's just there.
Wow. See that? So you have become stronger. you become a stronger person because of the metal you've gone through.
Is that people are, well, first of all, a bulk of these people are either trolls or bots.
Yeah.
But people
bots
I believe,
too?
I get a lot of bots just randomly stuff. my name.
Sure.
So, but the real people who are being hateful, it really hurts to see that they're being manipulated and they're just I can't even say the word, but they're just
regurgitate it out.
Feeding with the program, and you have to realize the brain, the mind is a literal computer, you know. So if you look at yourself from a programming perspective, look around you. We're being bombarded every single day by news stories, media, advertising. You know, you'll see something, you'll see an ad, and then you'll going somewhere and you'll see that Taco Bell, for example, and you'll be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna get a taco. Like, that's a program. That's literally a program. Like, a program to buy it. You know. So this hatred, especially the misinformation, this is what's disturbing about the whole thing. The whole, like, Democrats attacking Elon, spreading the misinformation about him.
Yes.
They're literally programming their bases to hate him. They're manipulating people, and they're doing it through the media, and the media is not reporting on the fact that Senator Warren bought Facebook ads and spread lies, literal lies, about Elon Musk. And they're okay with that. That should disturb you.
This is why your role is so important, is because there are so many mainstream media journalists and TV episodes and articles that are being written that is biased and wrong. And the best I can come up with is just, and I think Elon said this, that, because Tesla does not advertise and he's a threat to many industries, they're more likely to say negative things. Although they claim that there's this wall between journalism and advertisement, but then that's why our side of telling the truth story, it gets tiring to, it feels like Tesla is the David and Goliath, and there's some wins, and it looks like we're headed
on repeat. Almost, it's almost like it's on repeat, the David.
Yes, from 2019, it's starting to ramp up again, huh?
Yeah.
Although, did you not notice that there's less Tesla Q people?
I have a whole Google Drive file of screenshots of them just coming after me.
Yes.
And Martin Tripp, he shared some fake screenshots. I don't know if he made them, of me saying I'm going to come after him when I never tweeted anything.
Wow. Of course you would never do that. Yeah.
He misspelled. My name was misspelled. And what they didn't notice on that screenshot was that there was the lock symbol. So, that account at the time was private, and there was it did not have the lock symbol. So it was clearly faked. And so the link that these people will go to, it's just, it's really it's strange. It's unreal.
They're shorting. It's all about money. It's just for money. So they need to, do what they need to do to make the company fall and fail. And so it is David and Goliath. And so far, Tesla seems to be winning and hanging out of it. And
why
you've survived.
Why do y'all want, not you, but why do they want to just see a company fail? And see all these, Tesla is hiring jobs. Tesla's doing a lot of good. Why do they want to fight the good?
You're asking the question why? Come on, you know the answer. First, it's always money. Tesla Q is shorting the company. We've heard Bill Gates is shorting the company.
And
so they need money to see or whatever.
How are you going to short Tesla and then you say, oh, I want to talk to you about philanthropy? What?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And then obviously the oil industry is a massive industry. Yeah. It's massive. They control politically everything, and then they're being threatened. And they thought that Tesla was going to die in 2018, 19, and then it didn't. Now
Tesla ain't going
nowhere.
So Tesla is not going anywhere.
I don't think so anymore, right? It's and so it should be much easier. But like you said, it's a repeat this year, and you are one of the faces that is being attacked. And the good news is that you've got your platforms, both Twitter and the.
I will tell you this. So you need to be of complete sound mind and have faith in yourself and know that when people attack you,
Yeah.
what they're saying is not true. And
Yeah.
I'm one of the most low self confidence people you would probably ever meet. You know, that's one of the things I struggle with: self worth and self confidence. And that's kind of why a lot of this feels unreal. But I know what they're saying about me is wrong, and I know I'm a good person, and I'm not this horrible person that they make me out to be. So
Yeah.
I know that, and I carry that with me, and I don't let their words break me down.
Well, yeah, and the good news about that is, you become stronger over that, but also you've got lots of people who support you and love you, and that's the
Yeah,
beauty of the Twitter community.
that's
It's
like
I mean, I don't know how many friends I feel like I've developed between Twitter and Clubhouse, 50 plus 100 people that I feel like, we're all together and we're all helping each other and we're getting to know each other.
yeah, like one big.
Is there, yeah,
It's
what's
like
that?
one big family.
Yeah. So that's just, right. So at least keep that in mind. And I think you have, and you feel it. So that's good. And then it's a fun topic. It's a fun time to be talking about all these wonderful technology that's about to come change the world. Is there any area or product of Tesla that you are most excited for? Is it energy,
Um,
solar, autonomy? Is it
it's
robots?
somebody who gets really bad. So I've been trying to learn how to drive. I've been having a friend teach me, and I get
Yeah,
anxious. Like when I see another car, I panic. I just grab the
yeah,
wheel and I hit the brake, and I'm like, I'm not going nowhere until they're gone. And like my heart pounds, I'm sweating, and I'm like getting out of breath. And I'm just like, this isn't normal. I cannot be driving in this state.
yeah. You should be driving.
I'm ready for a robo taxi. Just have my car come pick me
Yeah.
up and take me places. I'm tired of you.
So another example of where you would be you're the one of the perfect people that would really really appreciate not only the safety, which is the big reason of the number of people dying of car accidents, but how it really would help you if that was something as affordable, accessible, all that.
Yeah.
Do you have any? I guess you're not doing FSD beta. Do you have any? But based on your research and your articles that you've written and the journalism you've done, where do you feel
Um,
FSD beta
so
is at
I've
right now?
been in a couple of FSC beta trips. One
Yeah.
was actually on my way home from the airport when I went to the Tesla CyberRodeo. I flew back home and I ordered an Uber, and it was a Tesla owner that actually follows me on Twitter. The
Wow.
FSD beta. So FSD beta took me home from the airport with no disengagements. However, there were two incidents each time. Well, three. There was two cyclists
Yeah.
and one pedestrian. And what happened was he was driving and he had his hands on the wheel and everything, but it's like the street was empty and then boom, a cyclist right there. And and
Yeah.
normally a human would have probably hit that cyclist, but the car saw it, and he was even like, "Oh my goodness, why are we stopping?" And then boom, the cyclist. That happened twice, and then it stopped again. And he's like, "Why are we stopping now?" There was a pedestrian. The car saw somebody walking on the sidewalk on the other side, and they looked like they were about to cross. So it just kind of slowed down. And when they realized that, when the car realized that he wasn't about to cross the street, it kept going. And this was all the car doing this. It was on FSD beta.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it was really, really cool, just to see it in action. And just
The same thing happened to me the very first time I took the FSD beta out, 2018, last year, 1 year
mm-hmm.
ago in October. There was I was going to a four-way stop sign. I'm sorry, it was two stop signs on both sides, but I had the right of way. And then the car slowed down, and this biker just went flying through their stop sign, burning through the stop sign, and right in front of me. And I was like shocked because I did not see that biker going down the hill and just burning through their stop sign. So I was already one of the, like, have you seen the, just today, the articles that was written on mainstream media about how there's more accidents 356 people, I don't know what the numbers, 300 plus people have had an accident on FSD Beta, but the others like Waymo and Cruise have only had 200 or something less than that.
I saw that, but
yeah. But right. So it was a misleading because, well, they don't talk about, the billions of miles that are being driven on FSD versus, thousands of miles on these other ones. They just talked about the number of accidents. And yet nobody is talking about the number of saved lives, because there's no recording of that, right? These examples.
No, seriously, I've written so many articles about how both Tesla Autopilot and FSD Beta saved. Like, I'll see, video. Somebody said Tesla FSD Beta saved me, or Tesla Autopilot saved me.
Right.
And there's so many of these stories out there, yet the media is not picking it up.
Yeah, you're not going to know if it saves somebody. It's again another thing we need to just, you're doing your part every time you write this. So FSD autonomy is the thing that you're most excited for. You're waiting for that. Do you think it's going to happen? It's going to happen in 5 years? It's going to happen in 2 years?
No, Elon does keep pushing it back a year. He's just trying to, not rush it, but I think he's ready for it. I think he's just, he's like, oh no, we'll solve it this year. Oh no, we'll solve it this year. And I think what it is that, I think they know, but they're not 100% sure. Like, I don't know. Like, part of me thinks like they know they're just kind of like being conservative, but at the same time, they're, pushing it back every year. So I don't really know when it will come, but I'm excited for it. And it's something that should not be rushed, because once people are using it, this will save lives, but they have to make sure it does save lives. Like, they have to make sure, it's glitch free, because lives will be on the line. Because, once everybody has, full self-driving, the cars will be in control and people ain't going to be paying attention.
Yeah, I think that people have very, very short memories. So 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you asked somebody, what do you think about robo-taxi? This is a car that's going to drive itself, full autonomy. You get in, you go to sleep. What would they say 5, 6 years ago? They would say, that's impossible. That's like 50 years from now. That will never happen. I have close friends who told me exactly that. I mean, just will never happen, because there's just so many little things that, car will never be able to know what to do. Like, let's say there's a biker. Will it know to go around it? If there's a bus, there's a policeman. Now they're all saying, well, yeah, sure, it'll come, but it won't happen for 5 to 10 years. And then they'll say, oh, sure, it can do all this now, but you said it was going to be happening in 2 years, and it's now 4 years later and still not here. It's ridiculous. It's really, really funny how they changed their story.
And I think it's based on, again, safety, because Tesla's focus is on safety, and they want to make sure it's completely safe. And so if it takes 50 years for them to do it, then I'm gonna have to reincarnate. But in all seriously, this is something that should not be rushed. It shouldn't be rushed to have it, because
exactly.
They got to test it and make sure it's completely 1,000%, 1,000,000% safe. Like,
yeah, and I don't know if we have to wait till full robotaxi. Anyways, it is ADAS. It's a safety feature that they can, already help you.
Well, for me, it would be robotaxi, because I don't drive.
Right. But for people who drive, it's already safer.
Yes.
Once they start rolling out the pieces of it that, even just you have to drive. But so what's your opinion? You've studied this, you've written a lot about the OEMs. Do you feel is their chance of actually creating and selling electric vehicles at margin and at scale?
They could do it if they wanted to.
They want to.
The thing about it is their motives aren't in the right place. They're trying to beat Tesla. Yeah. I think out of all of them, VW has Volkswagen, VW. They're the most. I think they're trying out of all of them the hardest. Like Ford, Tesla, and I mean, not Tesla, Ford and GM, they're sitting there like, oh yeah, we're the leaders. You know, they're pounding their chest while Tesla's doing all the work, you know. And no hate to Ford. You know, Ford was they were during Hurricane Ida, while I have no power, they were gonna actually bring me an F-150 for our area just to power us back on as a generator. Mm. And the day that they were going to bring it is when the power came back on. So I told Mr. Levine, he and I have butted heads, but I do appreciate him, you know, for like just considering our area, you know, just send it to New Orleans or send it to where it's needed the most because our power just came back on.
So you were communicating?
Yeah, so Jennifer Sensiba, another Clean Technica writer, she tagged him and said, "Hey, they need generators down there." Clean Technica writer, and then he realized, like, you know, he did help. Like, I appreciate him. I think his focus, you know, is a little bit off though when it comes to Tesla. Like, he's so busy trolling the Tesla community, and it's that polarity thing, you know. Like, how can somebody so dark be so good? You know, or so good be so dark. Like, how can this one guy help me out or want to help my community out, yet at the same time we're still fighting each other? You know, it's that polarity thing. You know, we're all capable of both good and bad. But I do think, you know, his focus should be more on Ford and not, like, you know, in trolling. And if Tesla people come after him, he should ignore them. You know, like, he should just like mute them. Even, you know, I wouldn't say block. I try not to block people now, but I do block the bots, and sometimes I'll get pissed off and block somebody. So, but I try not to. But I really do like.
Okay, so so you see that Volkswagen has the best chance.
Both Tesla and Volkswagen. In fact, I wrote a little bit about it. I don't know if the article is published yet. So there was a report going around that Volkswagen is going to beat Tesla in 2024 at EV sales. Honestly, I can't say whether or not that will happen or won't. But what I can say is they should not be pitted against each other, because Tesla's mission is all about sustainability. And out of all the automakers, Volkswagen is right there. Like, even the CEOs are kind of friendly, you know? Like, people forget Herbert Diess, I think that's how you say his last name. He invited Elon Musk to a Volkswagen meeting. You know, who does, like, the president of the United States did not invite Tesla to an American EV gala or whatever meeting, but Volkswagen did. Yes. Like, you know, so that speaks volumes of I think the respect that they have for each other. So I don't think they should be pitted against each other, because, you know, competition can be fun. I'm a Saints fan, and the rivalry in Atlanta, oh boy, it could be fun. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think we've all heard Elon say all the time that, you know, one company won't be able to do it, and he won't be able to do it fast enough. So he's absolutely willing to help and have the other OEMs get to this. And that's what his goal was, to accelerate the transition. Now they're at least all talking about it, but whether or not they can actually pull it through, that's the scary part. The battery supply, the unions, the dealership, and just their profit margin with the supplies. They may not be able to make it happen, but hopefully they can.
I am talking about batteries. So a couple years ago, I think I reached out. I don't know if I reached out to them or they reached out to me. It was Deep Green Metals. They're now the metals company. And I interviewed their CEO. And what they do, they go and they scoop up these little nodules. And they actually sent me one for my gym collection. It was really funny. And these nodules have nickel. I don't know if it has cobalt in it. I think it does. I can't remember. But it has nickel and a few other critical metals that are used in EV batteries. And they're just sitting at the bottom of the ocean. Now, the issue is getting it off the ocean floor in a very safe manner. So I've interviewed them, and then another company reached out to me recently called Impossible Mining, and they're doing the same thing. So there's more focus now on polymetallic nodules. That's what these little rocks are called. then so that can actually probably help America and Europe even just break free of China and I think it was Russia's dominance on nickel. I know Russia had like nickel, so you know I've learned a lot about that, but there's a lot of focus there, and I think that can really help if we start like focusing, you know, elsewhere, but do it in a sustainable method, because that's the hard part, you know, getting down to the bottom of the.
Are you predicting that Master Plan 3 will be Tesla getting into mining?
No, I think Elon said it was going to be scale. He was, you know,
yeah.
Maybe there'll be a Master Plan 4. Getting in the mining.
Well, let's talk about solar and energy. So you've done studies and deep dives on that as well. So tell me about what you're thinking about Tesla Solar, why it's taking so long. Is it going to ramp up this year?
I think because their focus is still on the EVs, and they're trying to focus. Yeah. It's really hard. Like when, you know, you have to split your attention. Let's look at it from a person way. Like, you know, you have your day, you got to do this errand, you got to do that, and your focus goes like 5 million different ways, right? So it's the same thing with companies and their focus, and of course their money and what they're spending on. What's Tesla's best seller is the EVs right now, you know. So their focus, I think, is more on EVs still. And even though they're trying to boost and ramp up solar, I really think it's just, you know, their focus is on EVs, and until the gigafactories in Berlin and in Texas are just pushing out boatloads of EVs, you know, Tesla's still going to have solar, you know, as a small part of their, you know, day. So if you break up your day into 5 or even half and half, 3/4 is going to be car, the other is going to be everything else.
So you don't see solar building up as a business until next year, 2 years?
I don't really know. I don't really like 100% know. I mean, I could be wrong. Elon might announce like, okay, we're ramping up solar tomorrow. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, to me, it makes sense, like, to focus on what's making you big money so you can keep investing that big money into your company. Because Tesla is still, and it's on a growth, like, it's on that growth ramp.
Yeah. What about energy? What did you write about? What did you study on Tesla's energy business?
So that's kind of connected with solar, you know, the battery and power wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're doing a lot of good, especially with the mega packs. Texas is going to benefit.
Sorry, Texas is going to be what?
It's definitely going to benefit with Tesla.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the Tesla energy division in Texas to go live.
You know what I would like to see from Tesla? I would like to see emergency backup generators for people who don't have power walls. So like me, like you live in an apartment that doesn't have, you know, or even microgrids for like disaster relief. That would be awesome, because I'm saving up for a solar power battery so I can, just in case we get another hurricane, because my cat's died during Ida.
Yeah.
It was hell. So just keep some cool air, keep us alive. I
was dreaming about this idea. I don't know if it even makes sense, but it can like hit multiple birds with one stone. So the idea would be, you've seen how he's mentioned many times that just a very small square foot, and if you create a solar farm, would be able to power all the energy needs of, you know, whether it's America or even the world.
Yep.
Very small square foot of solar farm. So I was just thinking, what if Elon or Tesla buys as much land as they can in Africa, make that all solar, and then that creates business and economy for Africa to feed, you know, the world, solve world hunger, and yet also sell the energy so they can become the new Saudi Arabia of the world and deliver that energy to the world. I was just like, it should, you know, I don't know how much money it would take, but if he has the resources, he might be doing something like that. He might just announce that one day.
That would be cool if they could do that, if he could do that.
What's your interest in SpaceX and I mean, you have an interest in minerals and gems. Are you excited to go? Oh my God, I can't wait to an asteroid and all that.
Yeah,
Mars rocks.
there's opals on Mars.
There's opals on
There
Mars.
are opals. There's hematite on Mars. They're called.
What's a
So
hematite?
hematite is a mineral. It's like a gray material. It's magnetic. So you've ever seen those little rock magnets that people play with? That's
Yes.
hematite. So, but on Mars they look like little blueberries. So that's what they're called, blueberries.
So you have a real deep interest. I just found out after talking to Kristen that she is geology and
Yeah.
rocks really fascinate her. Do you guys you guys should get together one day and just talk rocks all day.
You want to hear something crazy? There's another Johnna in the Tesla community, same spelling of her name, and I think she's a geologist, or she has a fascination with geology. And she's not me. she has Tesla, but it's crazy. Like, we have the same first name.
Well, I kind of find it. I kind of laughed a little bit when I found it. Your Twitter handle's at Johnna Crider 0. As like
0 was the one. Yeah, it's Johnna Crider 1.
Yeah. So does that mean that Johnna Crider is taken? It's like, what?
It's actually suspended, and I don't know. I think I had that account and then forgot about it, and yeah, it's suspended. I have no idea, but
okay. So it was yours. I thought maybe that there was another one.
I think I started like 2008 and then let it die. And then Twitter randomly, gotcha. Twitter's known for randomly they suspended my account in 2020. Right after Elon had replied to me about ventilators, actually, because we were trying to get ventilators here in Louisiana. We were running out. And actually, I had COVID.
Yeah.
That was the only time I had COVID, was in 2020. But yeah, we were trying to get the ventilators, and Twitter suspended my account. It took me like a good 8 months to get it back. Then they verified it.
Wow. And then they verified, so you're good to go. So let's talk about your gems and your minerals, and how did you get involved in this? How did you start your business? How did you come up with the name Getting Stoned?
All right, so 2005, I was living in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is a crazy story. So I had my first apartment. I was working in a lumber yard. I had just quit my job at the
I love all the jobs you've done. That's crazy.
I was working in the lumber, like at a lumber place, and my landlord, he's like, "Hey, Hurricane Katrina just hit. Rita just hit. It was the weekend after Rita, actually, and I had pneumonia because I had to go to work during Rita, the water up,
Jesus.
And I got pneumonia from it. So my landlord is like, "Hey, I'm kicking you out. I'm kicking out everybody because Kevin Costner is buying all this space for the movie The Guardian. It came out in 2006." And I'm like, well, dang, where am I going to go? So I tried to find apartments, and Shreveport was just like this whole vibe. There's like nothing available. And my mother had moved to Atlanta to take a job. And so I said, you know what? I'll just follow her footsteps. I stayed with a friend in Dubuque, Louisiana. It's like this small town, one of my high school best friends, and hung out with her for like a week or two, and then went on to Atlanta. And so fast forward a couple of years of hardships. I was trying to sell art in the square at Little 5 Points. So back then, Little 5 Points was like this artsy area. It's still artsy, but you could just, set up and sell art, You can't do that no more. But and this lady, she walks up to me and she's like, "I like your art. Come to my shop and say hi. There's a good vibe about you." So I go to her shop, and her husband's sitting there, and he's making jewelry, and it's just like crystals everywhere. And it was like a whole new world, So I started visiting them, and then he told me, he's like, "Hey, I need you to set me up a website and a Facebook." And I've always been some type of hustler. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. That's how I helped him set up his Facebook page, built this really whack-ass website. Like, I was so proud of that website, but now that I look back on it, oh my God, it was horrible. But I found out this guy was a Grammy-winning musician. His father was Lucky Thompson, the saxophonist. So he went on tour. He won a Grammy with the Black Uhuru in 1984 for the album Anthem. And he was just trying to get his music out there, He went on tour with Sly and Robbie. I think Robbie just recently died. It was either, I can't remember which one, and that's really bad, but I've never met those two, but I have met Mishka. And so he would just go on tour with all these reggae giants, pretty much. Wow. He played with Peter Tosh, who was part of the Wailers with Bob Marley. So he had all this musical, he was a musical genius.
Crazy.
And he's like, well, I can't pay you. I'm going to pay you in jewelry. And I've never really owned a jewelry before like that. You know, I always consider jewelry a luxury, like way out of my league. I was like, so I got excited. So I would go and spend time with them, and they became like family. I was trying to find my father at the time. My mom had the name of the guy my mother gave me for the father. I realize now she was on the run from the actual guy, and so I was on the phone with him, trying to convince him, hey, do a DNA test. You know, I'll pay for it. And he just like shut me out. And Daryl overheard that, and I was crying. And Daryl was like, fuck him, I'm your dad. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
And then Daryl's like, I'm going to teach you everything about jewelry making, everything about crystals, wire wrapping. And he's like, you need to study crystals and their metaphysical properties, because whether or not you believe in it don't matter, because people want to know what they're buying. And you want to give all the information of the product. And I do believe, like, you know, crystals do, they have frequencies. I've had some interesting things happen to me in this whole world. So, you know, and that's how I got my start into wire wrapping. And I'm going to tell you, I sucked. I really sucked. And it wasn't until my mother was in hospice that I had the extra money. I went and bought some 14 karat gold fill wire and this beautiful ruby. It was this faceted ruby. And it was my first time wrapping with 14 karat gold. And I posted it on Facebook. And one of my friends said, how much? And I just threw a number, I think 200, 300, and they bought it. And I'm like, Daryl sat down and he's like, you're going to make money doing this. This jewelry is going to take you places. And I just never thought it would take me to crossing paths with Elon Musk on Twitter. But it really has taken me places, you know. And I give all the credit to him because he taught me out of the kindness of his heart. And his wife now has Alzheimer's. And it's really hard to see because she was this vibrant person, just so full of life.
She discovered you. She liked your energy.
And now she's just, you know, it's really changed her physically, mentally. It's such a it's just a horrible, horrible disease. And it just hurts to see what it does to people. And I recently saw her when I went to Atlanta last month. And she couldn't even get up out of the bed. She had
it's this whole story the whole time. There's all these bad people, bad things, and then good things and good people. And these two, they felt your energy, they loved you, they wanted you they gave you something. You know, it's like a generation handing down to the next one.
And they have
and it's a wonderful thing.
They do have children, yes. How can I help you?
The cat. Do you put the jewelry on the cat?
No, I did for my neighbor for her cat. But she wanted a collar for him, but he wound up losing it. And I was like, I don't think jewelry is a good thing for cats.
No,
that's not a wise move. So
wonderful. And that's another topic of you found a passion for it. You love it. You can feel it whenever you talk about it, or even whenever I see you post about it. They're beautiful pieces. You've developed a huge talent for this. It's a skill, right? And then your knowledge of minerals and gems. And I hope that, you know, somehow, some way, you'll get an asteroid or a SpaceX or, you know, like a Mars thing, and you can be the one to create jewelry out of that.
You know, what I really want to do, just for the sake of learning, I would love to become a gemologist.
Wow.
Have to buy all the equipment, and way, way out of my budget right now. But
sure, it'll come.
I joined the International Gem Society. I learned a lot from them. I go to gem and mineral shows. If I see something unique that calls to me, I get on Google and I research it, learn the story of it. Why is it named this, and minerals, they have their own stories. They really do.
Isn't that funny how, well, I think the way that I can sum up the conversation today is you are a gem, you are a mineral, you were formed through heat, fire, pressure, difficult times. You've come out beautiful, you came out strong, you got value, and then you've got skills that you've developed now. And there's people that were, like I said, bad, like you said earlier, duality. Even the same person can be both bad and good to you. But you've had people that did very bad things for you, and you had a very tough childhood, tough life. But then there's people that just come out and support you, like Elon, which is a shocker. This is, the richest man in the world, a genius, making huge differences, and you are part of that energy, that part of that, your communicates to you.
I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the support of, I'm like, why do y'all support me? I'm just me, like I don't.
Well, yeah. And then you have people that you're fighting with because you're fighting the story for Tesla and the mission of Tesla, and then there are going to be enemies. Yeah. And you've taken on those enemies, and you did that in purpose. That's why you got into this. And yet there's the Twitter community of people who love you, and the huge community and friends now.
I love them too. I love all of y'all.
Yeah. all 10, what is it, 50,000 people that follow you. I love you all.
It's still kind of, ow, don't call me. Sorry. He just decided to come sink his claws into my leg. No, sir. But I will.
Okay, so you,
Elon, in 2018, I asked Elon what his favorite mineral was, and you can look it up. He said iron pyrite.
Yeah.
Now, did you know that iron pyrite is fool's gold, but it actually is an ore of gold? It's a minor ore of gold. It does have some actual gold in it.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Is that going to fuel the the FUD that he has an emerald mine? He has an emerald gold mine.
I always forget about the emerald thing, and that's crazy. Like his father,
it's crazy.
There's no paper trail.
It's the same thing with the Obama
and the birth certificate.
Somebody comes up with throws out the idea, and then it sticks, and then everybody keeps repeating it, and then some believe it's true, and it's ridiculous.
If I ever get to interview him about minerals, I would talk about just pyrite. Yeah. I won't even because unless he wants to add on to that and just go off. I mean, yeah, but pyrite, it's so cool. And ask him about mining. Will Tesla get into mining? What about the
there you go.
bricks?
So I mean, that's he probably knows so much about. I mean, the guy is a genius, and he can speak forever on these minerals. And you have a shared interest.
You know what? He could probably be one of the only people in the world who can get a hold of tranquilityite, the actual tranquilityite that can
What's
from the moon. So there's this mineral they brought back on the Apollo missions from the moon.
Yeah.
And it's called tranquilityite. Now, up until 2011, it was not found on Earth. I have a piece that's from Australia, from one of I think it was 4 or 6 mines that they found that have very trace amounts. And I had somebody sell it to me at a really low price, and it broke. Yeah. And so I took the broken pieces and made jewelry with them, and I sold one, but I still have the other one somewhere. But I would like to see tranquilityite from the moon and compare it with the one that I have, and just look at them side by side. I have a USB microscope. Just look at it and just do some cool photo art with both of them. And he would probably be the only person I could think of that applies to me on Twitter anyway, who could probably get a hold of a specimen. But I would like to see what would he'd think about that. It's from the moon. It's a cool mineral from the moon.
Oh, he would love it. Yeah. Well, okay, wonderful. Thank you, Johnna. I really enjoyed talking to you. Everyone, please follow Johnna. She writes articles on Clean Technica. You can find her on Twitter at Johnna Crider 0. Or is it 1? Sorry, 0.
And I do have a podcast.
And she has a podcast. So it's Johnna Crider 1. She has a website, JohnnaCrider.com. She has a podcast. You got to check out her jewelry business, gettingstoned.online. And she loves gems and minerals. She loves everything about Tesla, and she's one of the key people that's been there from the very beginning. So hopefully you learned something new. So please subscribe and like this video. Thanks, everybody. And thank you so much, Johnna. I appreciate the time with you.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, everybody.